let's jump into how to hire high-performing salespeople. So here's today's agenda. Part 1, we're going to talk about what are the characteristics of high-performing salespeople. Section 2, we're actually going to screen resumes. And then number 3, how to cut through the interview BS. So let's jump in. What characteristics should your ideal salesperson possess? Drive, competitiveness, need for achievement, optimism, integrity, relationship building, planning and organization, soft skills, all these are important. But what we're going to talk about today, drum roll, here is big idea, big takeaway number 1. Our solution is need for achievement plus competitiveness plus optimism. The term we're going to use today is drive. So this is a big idea here. I want to let this sit. When we're looking to hire effective salespeople, this is paramount. Their own need for achievement. Are they competitive? Are they optimistic? I'm putting that together as an equation called drive. This is punchline number 1. This is big takeaway number 1. We are looking for drive. Big idea number 2. We can train. Anybody, any of you can train industry specifics, our sales process, sales techniques. We can absolutely train that. What we can't train, you cannot instill intrinsic motivation and drive where it doesn't already exist. This is what you're looking for. You are looking for drive. This is how you hire high-performing salespeople with more certainty. So how do we review resumes for drive? Let's jump in. So this is a resume here. I have things highlighted, point out what drive looks like on a resume. In the resume, I'm seeing things like achievements like 4% year-over-year growth. President's award, not once, President's award every year. 1 trips for sales quota plus 5%, 1 trips for sales quota. This is all throughout the resume. And then in school was a 3.6 GPA, president's list. This is a person that has a need for achievement no matter where you drop her or him. This is all different jobs here. Exceeded revenue target, 120% of quota. Exceeded quota, ranked number 1. Out of the entire team, ranked number 1. Exceeded quota again. These are all different positions. And then winner's circle, not once. Winner's circle 8 years in a row. And let's do one more. The other thing that candidates with drive possess is the ability to stick it out. They have grit and they are going to continue to win year over year. That doesn't mean somebody with a great story that's jumped around every 2 years is a bad hire. But what it means is you want to see things like this. You want to see a couple years here, 4 years there, 3 years there. These are the things when we're effectively screening resumes for drive, we want to see their wins no matter what the role. Were they promoted? How many times did they get president's list? Where did they exceed quota? Those type of things. That's first round. Let's jump into the burning question now is, how do we conduct this interview? I want to give you the next big idea here on your North Star for successful interviews. This is the North Star. The 3 of them combined is what I use every single time. The first thing is, does this candidate have drive? So you're going to ask questions. Tell me about your past jobs. Were you promoted? Did you beat quota? Did you make President's Circle? Have you ever won any awards? What are your accomplishments? What are you most proud of? Can you quantify it? You really need to dig in during the interview to make sure that the resumes aren't BS. Number 2, would you personally buy from this person? Think about that very carefully. Not, look, they have all these awards. They've done all these great things. Look at this resume. They obviously know more than sales than me. Let's hire them. No, would you personally buy from this candidate? This will help you more than you can ever imagine. If you would not buy from this person, I don't care what's on the resume. I don't care what they say. They're out. And number 3, are they running away from something or are they running towards something? Let's let that sink in for a second. A candidate running away from something is, my company just had layoffs. I got to get out of here. Or I was just laid off and I need to find a new job. Or my manager is toxic. I have to get out of there. That's a candidate that is running away from something. Or are they running toward my passion? Where I want to build my career is more your your industry. This is a huge jump for me. This is the biggest opportunity I could ever have. Are they running towards something or away from something? When I'm interviewing a sales candidate for my clients, and I know this would be the biggest leap in their career, that is a tremendous, tremendous yes for me. Do they have drive? Would I personally buy from them? And do they want this opportunity, or are they running away from something? All right, we're going to play another game, and I'm going to get even more specific on how to get rid of that BS during interviews. This is called sales interview question around the room. Answers versus behaviors. So when we're interviewing and we're asking interview questions, we are not looking for answers. We're not looking for the right answer. Like, oh, that person said the right thing. Like Tom Brady after a press conference. Oh no, it was a team effort. It's all about the team. That's what Tom Brady says. That's the right answer. If you're in a sales interview and you're getting all the right answers, that might even be a red flag in and of itself, because they're BSing you, right? This could be a charlatan posing as a great salesperson. What we're looking for is behaviors. Write down on a piece of paper, tell me about a time when. Tell me about a time when. All right, here are the 3 questions for need for achievement. Tell me what you did to prepare for this interview. What is it about sales that gets you most fired up? And if you could get better at just one thing in relation to your sales performance, what would it be?
I'm just so good at all of it.
Okay, let's stop there.
I'm just kidding. Playing.
I'm so good at all of it. My bullshit meter's going crazy. First answer was I'm good at everything. And then the use of tell me about a time when, get into that behavior to really get rid of that BS answer. I went into a client recently, had a sales team of 13. I sat down with all of them in a one-on-one interview to get to know them. This kid told me, I hate people.
Oh, that's great.
It was a 30-minute get to know him. He told me he hates people. He's a salesperson.
Oh, wow.
How did you miss that? Here are your 3 questions during the interview. How do you like to be recognized for a big win? What's worse, not hitting your quota or not having happy customers? On a scale of 1 to 10, how competitive would your significant other say you are, and why? Here's your 3 questions. Name a time you received criticism and how you handled it. When you've had a string of no's from prospects, you're in a slump. How do you stay motivated? Number 3, how do you like to blow off steam after a bad day at work? Name a time you received criticism and how you handled it, or I can go to.
You go, Jay.
Absolutely. So just recently, I went to a coach about presenting. So I showed him my videos and I got some feedback on not only my body language, but just my inability to connect at times and then sit there and actually receive that energy back, right? So that was a deep thing I had to go through. It absolutely stopped me for a second. I had to talk myself into, okay, this is just going to make you better. It took me probably 2 or 3 days to digest it, to talk about it and come up with a plan. So my punchline is, if I'm interviewing, I don't handle criticism like that day. It takes me a minute. It takes me 2 or 3 days to really absorb it, to face it, to think about it, to process it, to come up with a plan. And then I bounce back, but I can't do that immediately. So I gave you tell me a time when, but that is not a bullshit answer, because you could tell I'm really telling you a real story. And that was just the most recent, but that stopped me. That's what I want to hear from salespeople. I want to get to know you. I want to look inside you. I want you to tell me what makes you tick, so I understand that you're not BSing me. This is the art of the interview, is getting underneath, finding the motivation, asking the right questions, and then hitting them with, tell me about a time when. This is why you need to understand, what are your company's core values? What are your core values? Yeah. Because that's got to mix. If you don't know what your core values are, you don't even know what you're looking for. I don't want a killer that's going to ruin my brand, hit quota, put trash in my pipeline, hold my whole company hostage because they're saying yes to everything. That's insane. Well, that's not what we want. That's a cancerous cowgirl or cowboy salesperson that's going to hold your whole company hostage. You're building a culture. And if you know what you're looking for, that's how we build it. Last couple quick things. At the end of every interview, I always say, what questions do you have for me? This is super simple. If they don't have any questions for you, that's not a great salesperson. Great salespeople, they're curious. They want to uncover things. They want to figure you out. They have a ton of questions. If there's no questions, they're probably running away from something. and not towards something. And the last thing that's been very interesting and another way to really bring out another layer of candidate where they can't BS you is I give them homework. What I love about this homework is I only ask this homework to somebody that I want to keep talking to. But the first thing I ask them in homework is, hey, when you get out of here, I'd like you to write me an email. Okay. That's another layer of a resume writer is not going to be able to write this for you. Not only do I see this person's self-awareness, their spelling, their grammar, and get to reflect, did this person see this interview the same way as me? But I can get that all at once. And now there's no way to BS this because it just happened and I was there with you. Part two, and this is especially for salespeople who prospect, make them do a little bit of work, not a lot of work. If you're a salesperson worth your salt, you'd be able to figure out 5 quick prospects and why you'd reach out to those 5 first. This total homework assignment should take maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30. Candidate really wants to work for you, they'll fill it out. If they don't, you just got another proof point. You just figured something else out. All right, I'm going to close with a story here. And this is the punchline of all of this. This was a real study. There's 2 juicer salespeople on 2 different sides of the mall. They look the same. They're dressed the same. They're working from the same pitch. The juicer salesperson on this side of the mall, she nails her pitch for the juicer. And when it comes time to pour juice samples, she pours them perfectly and hands them out. However, the juicer salesperson on this side of the mall, she also nails her pitch. But when it comes time to pour juice samples, she spills. It's messy. It's embarrassing. She cleans up the best she can, pours out juice samples and hands them out. Who do you think that day sold more juicers? So let's bring this back to your own values. Bud, you're not wrong. If I was hiring a brain surgeon and this guy can't even pour a cup of coffee, I'm not letting you in my brain. Like, that's super important for this job. But in this study done by Vanessa Van Edwards, the spiller sold more juicers that day because of the connection. Because people, I've definitely spilled, that was embarrassing. Yep, she recovered. Yeah, let's buy a juicer, right? So the stakes were different. Nobody's wrong here. But the idea is this is what we're trying to do in an interview. I brought up Tom Brady. It's about connection, not perfection. You as the founder, you as the person hiring the salesperson, if that interview is too perfect and there's no weaknesses, that in and of itself is a red flag. I don't know if anybody likes The Boys, but both of these are characters to me that are perfect and always know the right thing to say at all times. I think perfection is actually scarier. Let's recap. All right, recap key points. Drive, a need for achievement, optimism, and drive. Screen resumes, this is to be more productive. It doesn't mean because you have a great resume, I'm hiring you. It just means screen those resumes. If you don't even have achievements and quantified stuff on your resume, it's probably not even worth your time. Number 3, ask the right questions. What are your values? How are you going to ask these right questions? How are you going to get to the right questions? And I still think a perfect interview, and you do not see this person's weakness or vulnerability or anything wrong, I think that's a red flag. And the last 2 things we didn't talk about today due to time, but you got to make sure when you're hiring salespeople, you got to sell that position, set realistic expectations. And the last piece here is have some type of process where someone in HR is going to help you, your partner, another salesperson, someone in another department, get your plan together, but never, ever, ever, ever hire a salesperson with just you are the only one who interviews. You always want to get everybody on the same page as to what you're looking for and be able to triage. All right. And then last piece is here. You can keep the screen up. Yep. So when you do this type of thing, even there's no silver bullet, this will create more certainty. You'll know what you're getting into. This is how you hire those high performers, people that have drive, that no matter what, they're going to be resourceful enough to get in, figure it out, and achieve. Create a repeatable process of this. Don't wing it. What are we looking for in resumes? What are we looking for in the interview? Do a couple people interview them? Did we assign homework? What does the homework look like? Create that repeatable process, even if it's not a million steps, but create it, have someone help you. 2 or 3 people is ideal. And last one, this is how you scale. If you need anything, my name is Jay. Again, My website is pitchlab.io. I hope to see you again.